Hi everybody, welcome to my session with Teach with Tech. My name is Krystal and today I'm going to be talking to you about giving all students a voice with Flipgrid. If you would like to follow along, you can see a bit link for my presentation. This will link you to the Google Slides that I am using, and many of my slides are hyperlinked today, so you'll be able to follow along with all these resources and have access to it after this presentation is done. The link is bit.ly/Flipgrid TWT2019. So you're welcome to follow along with the presentation. To tell you a little bit about myself before we begin, my name is Krystal. I am a school technology specialist in Salt Lake City, Utah. I work with students and teachers kindergarten through 6th grade, integrating technology in the classroom. I work at 2 elementary schools that are one-to-one Chromebook technology, and I help the teachers and the students as we work on integrating Chromebooks in the classroom. I would love it if you would follow along with me on Twitter. My handle right there is @MissPlott, MISSPLOTT, and I would love to connect with you beyond this conference and share things with Flipgrid. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing you might be wondering is, what is Flipgrid? And I'm going to let some students tell you exactly what Flipgrid is in their own words.
I think it's important to have a voice because it means that we get to speak up. It gives you a chance to speak your mind.
Sometimes, not everyone's heard and everybody has an opinion.
So other people can know what you believe in.
You should never underestimate someone because you never know what they are and how they are.
It is important to have a voice because if you want something to say, you should be able to say it.
Adults shouldn't be the only one that get to make decisions, that get to tell about everything they like and what they know.
Because adults don't always know what the kid would think.
For a lot of these issues, kids have an inside perspective.
If we don't learn to speak our minds and take part in the community, what's going to happen to the community?
You're involved and you know what's happening in your community.
We can inspire other people, show the world who you are.
You get to share your ideas and you get to say what you want.
You need to have a voice to speak loud and give your ideas because your ideas might change the world.
I'm Evan, and I have a voice.
My name is Jocelyn, and I have a voice.
My name is Jess, and I have a voice. I have a voice.
I have a voice.
I have a voice. I'm proud of my voice.
And you need to hear it.
Awesome, dude. Nice job. That was really good.
So as you can see, that video touches on the importance of student voice. You might be wondering, what is Flipgrid? Well, Flipgrid is an easy-to-use video discussion platform for students and teachers. Students record video responses on their devices, and as the teacher, you can set the length anywhere from 15 seconds to 5 minutes. Why use Flipgrid? Because it gives every student in your classroom a voice. You will see 100% engagement. You'll be able to encourage creativity and foster diversity in your classroom. Flipgrid is where social learning happens. The mission of Flipgrid is to empower every learner to share their voice and respect the diverse voices of others. Together, we can build global empathy. So the next part is, how does Flipgrid work? I'm going to show you this video that will walk you through exactly how to start Flipgrid in the classroom.
To get started as an educator, head to admin.flipgrid.com. This will be your home page, the My Grids page. Let's create our first grid by selecting the blue button and opening the Grid Launchpad. A grid is our community, so select one of the 3 community types to set up your grid privacy. For this example, we'll select school email. Now let's give our community a name. This is our Flipgrid classroom. Here's your flip code. Make note of this for later and how you share with students. You can customize the flip code as well as personalize the grid by selecting one of the grid banners. Hit next and let's finish setting up grid privacy. We'll add a domain, which is everything after the @ symbol. If students have a different one, add theirs as well. Now we can launch our grid. At this point, the grid is ready. Here's the flip code and you can share that with the students. But I want to take you through a few features first. So let's head back to the My Grids page. Here you can see the classroom that we just created as well as the flip code. Click within the classroom and you can see we created an introduction topic for you. At any time, add more with the blue button. Let's edit this grid so I can show you a few features. Video response time is set to 90 seconds, but you can adjust that. You can also toggle on or off video moderation to make videos hidden or visible by default. As the topic designer, you can record videos, add images, GIFs, or even attachments like OneNote links. Video features allow you to decide if students can react, reply, or add titles to their video. And finally, with feedback, you can create custom rubrics and give students amazing feedback on their videos. When you're ready to share, just click the blue share button, and you got that flip code? The flip code also creates a URL for easy copy pasting. Students enter the flip code at flipgrid.com or on the mobile apps. Then they'll be prompted to verify access using either Google or Microsoft. If they're on a personal device, they can click Remember Me, so it's easy sharing for later. Once they log in and they can access the grid, they can click a topic, watch any other videos, and when they're ready, hit the green plus to record. Have fun and see you on the grid.
So as you can see in that video, getting started with Flipgrid is simple. It's simple, authentic, and too much fun. The very first thing you'll do is create a grid. A grid is for your students, your personal learning community, your staff, your school, or anyone. As they showed in the video, if you have a school email domain, such as Microsoft or Google, that's the easiest way to get started. But if you don't have access to that, you're able to create a student ID list for your students to log in, or you can create PLC and public grids for anybody to participate in. Once you've done that, you will add topics. Topics are discussion prompts, themes, or challenges for your grid community. We're going to look at lots of topics and ways to use Flipgrid in the classroom today. After that, the students share. Students respond to topics by capturing or uploading short videos that are shared with your grid community. The great thing about Flipgrid is it works on just about every device. There are apps for Google Play, apps for Apple, the Microsoft Store, and it also works on Chromebooks and mobile web browsers. When learning is social, magic happens, and that magic is with Flipgrid. So now you might be wondering, where can I start my Flipgrid adventure? Well, this is just a few ideas that Flipgrid has suggested. As you can see, they have ideas for pre-K through 8th grade, high school, university, staff and PLC, and even enterprise. Everybody is using Flipgrid, and there are so many ways. We're only going to be able to scratch the surface today in ways to use Flipgrid. But before we get started, I want to share with you one teacher's why. This is my friend Shelley. She defines herself as a really non-techie teacher, but she knows that students need technology. And when she hears about a new tool, she's happy to try it out. Her story brought me to tears, and I asked her to share it, and this is her why for using Flipgrid in the classroom. I'm going to let Shelley take it away.
Last year, I had a student in my class that was a selective mute. She would talk and communicate with students, but not so much with adults. She probably communicated more with me than any other adult in the school for sure. But when I say communicate, it was written communication, hand gestures, and little grunts and sounds or nodding yes or no. She did have a few signals for like bathroom and those kinds of things. But as far as talking to me verbally, I had never heard her talk right to me. On the 100th day of school, we did an activity. I read Scaredy Squirrel to the class, and then I had a simple prompt for them to respond to, and I decided to use Flipgrid. It was the first time I had ever used Flipgrid in my class. So I had them do that, and I didn't know if this student would do the prompt or not. As I noticed, I was walking around the class, watching other kids, helping them troubleshoot, and she looked like she was doing her response. And I was just like, okay, give her space, because if I walk over there, she won't talk anymore. And I wanted to give her a chance to share, because oftentimes she had really good ideas. She just didn't really feel comfortable sharing them in class and wouldn't share them. And it's too hard for her to write down her ideas to share those. So, we finished up. It looked like she did her prompt. And when it was time to go to recess, about 45 minutes later, I excused the class to go, and she sat at her desk. And I asked her, hey, are you going to go outside? And she shook her head no. And then she came up to my computer, and on one of my monitors, I had just the thumbnails of all the Flipgrid videos. And she pointed to hers, and I said, yeah, that one's yours. And she was like, yeah. Well, she didn't talk, but she nodded her head, yeah. And then she just kept pointing. And I said, do you want me to watch it? And she nodded yes. And so I said, okay, I'll watch it. And then she just stood there, and I said, do you want to watch it with me? Yes. So I turned on the video and watched her as she did it. And that was the first time, 100 days she was my student. And that was the first time I ever heard her voice. And I loved doing that. I loved hearing her voice. I had communicated with her, but never verbally. This was a great tool for her to be able to use her voice and for her to share her voice with me, but not have to do it face to face. And I was amazed that she stood right by me and watched me watch the video. So I'm a total proponent for Flipgrid. I love using it in my class and look for different ways to use it.
Thanks so much for sharing that story, Shelley. As you can see, Flipgrid has so many uses. And this list that I've compiled is just some of the many ways that teachers are using Flipgrid in the classroom. When you download the presentation, you will see that all of these are hyperlinked to a topic, a blog post, a tweet, a handout, something to give you some guidance to get started with using Flipgrid in certain ways. So, ways that teachers have been using Flipgrid: reading responses, end of unit reflections, show what you know or an exit ticket, language arts and fine arts integrations, station rotations for blended learning, video messaging and voicemail. This one I want to talk about for just a moment. I think this is a great idea. Students are able to send messages to the teachers, or parents can also send messages. And then you can moderate the board so that others don't see it, and you have a way to quickly interact with parents and students. Perhaps you're out of the building and they need to get a hold of you. Or the example that is linked is a technology coach who's managing 3 schools. Teachers can quickly leave a message when they need some help, and the coach can respond to their video with the video and quickly get on their way to their next task. Grid Pals, kind of like Pen Pals, but with Flipgrid, and Flipgrid will help you get started and connect you with a classroom to have a Grid Pal. Classroom collaboration. This is something that can be global. It can be used anywhere, and there are so many ways to use this. Student portfolios. What a great way for a student to show growth, having their own video portfolio. Reading buddies. My kindergarten students love having reading buddies. Their 6th grade buddies can read stories to them, read stories with them. They can share book reviews and experiences together, and they're able to collaborate. Reading buddies, fluency practice, self-reflection at the end of a unit. Flip hunts is another one that has quickly become very popular and has taken the Flipgrid world by storm. That link will take you to a blog post that will have directions to help you get started. A flip hunt is kind of like a video scavenger hunt, and it is super fun. Quick checks, assessments, sub plans. How brilliant is that? There is a link for a blog post on how to get started with sub plans. What a great way to be in charge when you're gone. Leave video directions for your students and they can follow along. Leave quick lessons, guidance. Maybe it's a math lesson that might be hard for a substitute to just step in and teach. Leave them sub plans. Family engagement and more. If you click on and more, you might find a little hint with some extra ideas. The possibilities are truly endless with Flipgrid. I'm going to show you a few ways that myself and other technology specialists in my district have used Flipgrid the past few years since we started. This is one of my tweets, student self-reflections at parent-teacher conference. This tweet actually went viral and was featured on Flipgrid's blog and on their Twitter feed. The last time I checked, it had more than 18,000 authentic impressions on the Twitter data. So this teacher made a script for her students to ensure that they were sharing all of the information that she wanted them to include. Then she hung up all of their flip codes in the hallway, and when parents were waiting for their appointment, they could quickly scan the QR code and see what their student has been up to in class. Such a brilliant idea and such a great way to use Flipgrid. As I talked about on the last slide, subplans. This was first created by a gentleman named Kyle, and he created Flipgrid subplans, and he has blogged about it and shared his ideas. So on the handout, you can click on his blog post for more information on how to get started with Flipgrid video subplans. Another one that I did with my teachers was Teacher Appreciation Week. Every student made a video to say thanks to their teacher. The teachers loved it. On the day of Teacher Appreciation Week, they got a code that they were able to scan, and they were able to watch a unique video message from each student in their class. This was a super fun project. It definitely takes some planning ahead to get 700 teacher appreciation videos made, but it was super fun. One of the fun things about my job as a school technology specialist is we get to go visit other classrooms every month and see how teachers are using technology in the classroom. One technology specialist had the idea to use Flipgrid for classroom shoutouts. So after we visited each classroom, there was a flip code hung up outside the room. We could leave questions or comments for the teacher, or to give them shoutouts, or just thank them for letting us stop by. So if we had a question about something that we had seen, we could leave them a message and they could respond later and answer our question. Or we could just tell them what an awesome job they're doing in the classroom, because who doesn't want some positive words every now and then? This is another one of my favorites. So here in Utah, we have a really funny lieutenant governor named Spencer Cox, and he decided to play the 1-hour governor while the governor was out for surgery. He did all sorts of funny things on Twitter. So students were challenged to think about what they would do if they got to be in charge for an hour. If you were the governor, if you were the president, maybe you're the teacher or the principal, what things would you do if you were in charge for 1 hour? Real world applications right there. We also have a lot of dual immersion classes. So here we have students recording themselves in French, and then they're able to listen to other students who are also speaking French. What a great way to practice those language skills. Once you have created a grid and you're ready to share, there are a few ways that you're able to do this. QR codes are short, and short links make it easy to share. You can also share through Google Classroom and Remind. If you would like to share an individual video with parents or generate a QR code for a single response, you have that option as well. This is something I'm really excited about. You can quickly generate individual QR codes for an entire topic now. Simply go to the topic details page and click Print QR Response Codes, and it will generate a QR code for each video. You can quickly print your whole class in one click. There's another feature that I would like to talk about called guest mode. Educators can involve families, community members, experts, and more by granting them special permission to specific topics without providing access to other topics in your grid. You can do this from within your educator admin. Just activate topic guest mode on any of your topics. Now, guests are granted access through a unique guest code. You decide whether guests have view only or view and respond access. You can share the guest code with whoever you'd like, and you can revoke access at any time by simply regenerating the code. If you don't want to send out a code, you can also create a QR code. Simply print and post for your guests to scan. When guests click to record in the topic, they'll be prompted to enter their first and last name and an email address if you would like, prior to recording. The next question I get most frequently is, where can I find Flipgrid inspiration? Flipgrid is super active on Twitter. You can go on and follow them at Flipgrid, and you can also do a quick search for the hashtag FlipgridFever. If I pull up my Twitter feed for Flipgrid Fever, I can see tons of ideas here. So many great ideas for Flipgrid Fever. They also have an Instagram account, and they have a Facebook educator community. If you click on any of these, they will link you to Twitter, Instagram, and the Facebook educator community. So definitely check those out and get connected and get social with Flipgrid. This page has even more resources for you. They have a resource, a webinar page. They have a blog with tons of great resources, including a monthly newsletter. They have a help section, and they have a certification page. I'm currently level 1 Flipgrid certified, and there are 3 levels of certification, so you can keep going and level up a couple of times. Another great feature is the Flipgrid Disco Library. 5,000 plus educator-created, ready-to-use topics in the Disco Library. Disco is short for Discovery, and as you can see, they've got their disco dancers there ready to go. If you download the presentation, you will find links on this slide here. Every so often, they create a new educator's guide as they release new updates to Flipgrid. There's also a cute emoji reaction guide that you can print and hang in your classroom to help students learn how to use the emojis responsibly. They have professional development integration, and they have tons and tons of ideas available. Each of these will link you to a resource. They also have an Educator Innovation Station. The Educator Innovation Station is the most supportive, authentic, and inspiring educator community out there. It's definitely worth checking out. If you're ready to explore, hop onto Twitter and explore the hashtag FlipGridFever and Flipgrid's Twitter feed, or explore the Disco Library. Find a few ideas you can take back to your classroom and share those ideas on the Flipgrid Fever board that I've created. You can see the link down here at the bottom. Next, start creating your boards so that you're ready to go when you get back to school. You can create your topics in advance and share them with students when you're ready. I would definitely encourage you to sign up today for a free Flipgrid account. Thank you so much for joining me in this session of Teach with Tech. I hope to see you on the web.